Okay, July minutes. Okay. Do we have a copy of the July minutes?
Yeah, what about it? You need a motion?
Yes.
I would move
Do we have
to
a
approve.
motion?
I would move to approve the minutes as submitted.
Second?
Second.
Oh, okay. Whoever.
Laura's used to that, that's her job.
This is my job.
It is moved and seconded that. Any discussion on the July minutes? Okay. If they're not, then we move to, it's been,
All those in favor?
oh my gosh. I just drove from Portland, just so you know.
So sorry. We should be giving adult beverages to you.
You're doing great.
It's been moved and seconded? Yes. To approve the July minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next on the agenda is the appearance of interested persons. The first one we have is Tammy Kuntz.
And she's not here, so could we take Tammy Saldivar out of order so she doesn't have to stay a long time if you don't want to?
All right, Tammy, you want to approach the microphone and? Oh,
Now what? Oh, no, we're just gonna talk. You don't have to speak about anything.
we're informal, obviously.
So she looked up Zentangle, so she knows now. So the Keizer Street painting program is what she turned into us. Did you guys? I
Yes.
bet you didn't get a copy, right?
No, I got an email.
Oh, you did? Okay, great. So that's what we're here to talk about. And I'm happy to go first and say, I thought this was outstanding. I thought she did a great job. I thought it was concise, to the point. I mean, with very little changes. I would say, yeah, this is our program. And I think we should fill in the blanks that are missing and add that to our master plan. Because that's what we ask for is, she volunteered actually. She volunteered to develop the program for us, and it's currently not in our master plan, but it was something that we were all interested in, but we just didn't have the program written out. That would be my comments. I think it's great. I thought she did a terrific job.
I'll say something. Well, Commissioner Reed has something to say.
Oh,
Councilor Reed.
sorry, this question is probably better for the end. But I'm just wondering, since we have, I'm going to say more or less filled this room, we talked about using some, the money that we normally do, with our in-house, we could put some of our money towards this in addition to some of the wraps. Do you have any kind of idea how much these costs are or is it all over the board?
Did I not put that in there?
I didn't see it.
What she put in there is that the cost of paint and materials would not be supplied by the city. But that's one of the changes I would propose. Because I think it would behoove us as a committee to determine what paints are gonna be better at doing this from Salem's experience. And then I think we should probably consider that would be our contribution. So how I envision this is they would come to us and say, okay, here's my design, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to get a community group together to paint this, and all I need help with is paint and supplies. And so then we, as a group, would approve the image and then determine whether or not we wanted to support that community group by purchasing the paint and supplies for them.
Do we have any idea how much those paint and supplies cost?
Yeah, if I recall right, and I apologize for not having it in there. I thought it was around 1,500 is what the group. So I'll give you a little history here. This is. I put this together because as the traffic safety committee, it's been discussed kind of behind the scenes for a while as a proposal that we can do street art for traffic calming, which everybody knows it does. However, this specifically says not for traffic calming because that is not a direction and liability that we want the city to have as a means for someone to say it didn't work and now we have this situation. And so we decided to approach it more as through your commission as art instead of for traffic purposes, although we no, it will be used for traffic purposes. So with that said, I looked at Salem's program, because they have a very good program online, which is where most of what you see there came from. I looked at theirs. I met with the neighborhood that was working over the 4th of July time period. I can't remember which neighborhood name that is for their association, just to see how it was, what they could tell me, because I'd already done 1 or 2 prior to that moment in time. And so it was very enlightening and insightful for us to understand what it entailed. And then I took, like I said, what was online and put it together that I felt was applicable to Keizer, because I did tweak a couple things, but realistically, most of it comes from their plan, just because I couldn't see anything else to change or how to reword it, because it was very direct and it's a technical document.
Isn't that nice when you don't have to reinvent the wheel?
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. So when I met with them, they said about $1,500 is what they were looking at for the amount of paint they were buying for what they were doing, and that includes primer and then the paint itself.
And Tammy, was that the city of Salem that would purchase that, or did they?
No, they had, well, okay. She said the first one they did, which was last year or 2 years ago, I can't remember exactly when they did it, they purchased it themselves through donations or however they came to that. But since that point in time, the city has put together a program for these. And so there's actually a funding source within the city for that. It says it's a general fund that I'm aware of. So now they do fund so many per year, from what I understand.
Do you know if, I would assume that these would have to get approved. I mean, if there are intersections or whatever, that I would assume the Public Works Director would have to kind of sign off on, this is a safe place to put this?
Yeah, so what I did was I looked at what was the language that was there, which you have in front of you as well, and I liked the way it was already worded, saying only certain intersections can have it, because it limits, like you can't put on River Road, you can't put on the main arterials by any means. Nothing with a signal, and you can't affect paint over an inlet grate or anything, and you can't make it look like it's any sort of stopping device. So there's definitely criteria, which is where your commission would come in, because
On a local
whatever's
street,
proposed.
within the Keizer Transportation System Plan, and then she's got hyperlinks that take you to where that is in the Transportation System Plan.
Right,
And then further design criteria underneath that.
So yes, to answer your question, I would hope the city has some feedback on this to make sure that they would approve what is being proposed here. How that sequences between your commission and going to them is out of my hands at this point, and I don't know how you go about doing that.
That's a good point. It does need to go to Public Works.
Yeah, and so, Adam, would you envision the process for this? Would this go through us and then traffic safety bike ped? Or, I mean, it would have to, I assume, come to council at some point? I mean,
It will, because it'll be a master plan amendment.
yeah, but I'm talking about even the choice of locations.
Oh,
Is that something that needs to go through traffic safety bike ped, here, then there, and then to council? Or what do you envision the process for that?
So if it's not being used for a traffic calming device, it's not going to cover up stop bars, crosswalks. So if it's not being used for a traffic calming device, then I think it could stay within KPAC but have Public Works review the locations, make sure that it's not a location that has stop bars or crosswalks, things like that.
So what I presented here was
Just
just
the first thought.
starting point, knowing that it's going to be developed beyond what you have there. And so that's where I'm looking to city staff to give some input on whether they agree with what's written there, or you want to dial that back even more, or what type of involvement you do want to have. Is it on every time there's a location chosen, do you want it looked at first through you and then through
well, the
arts?
art has to be approved here.
Right.
So the design has to be approved here. So how I think it would be is you would have a person come and say, I want to paint this on my local on my local intersection, and here's my intersection. And they give us the location. We look at the art, we approve the art. I think then we hand it off, because all we have authority to do is approve art. And so, once that's done, council has always been the one that approves location, but no art. We're art and no location. So then I think we hand it off to Public Works, and if Public Works looks at it and says it's okay, I don't know if council cares or not, if Public Works says it's okay.
Yeah, they'd make that decision if they want to be involved in it or not.
Well, and they would have that conversation when they approve the master
Master
plan too.
plan.
So that would be part of that conversation as to how much involvement they want.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's designed in the program that the paint has to be approved also because there's limitations to what should be applied. It can't be reflective,
Yeah.
it can't be, and so on. So I would imagine that's all part of the submittal. So I envision like an application form that you create that they, it's just pretty cut and dry.
Which is, if I may, which is another good reason for the city to provide the paint because, Bill will tell you, there's some paint that just, goes right off and there's other paint that's good and there's, reflective, there's all kinds of street paint issues. And so if we provided the paint, I mean, they would color it because we have white paint. Clearly they could, but even then, does the coloring change the chemical makeup of it? I don't know.
So are you suggesting the city provides the material
Yeah.
for each one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
One,
that
for
means,
consistency, and two, if we buy a gallon of blue, if they don't use a gallon of blue, it would just go to the next project. It could be available, but yeah, I think the city should.
okay.
That's my opinion.
And I
don't know.
think, white would be, because
Yeah. and
I'm
then-
just thinking
and
that
then
we're
see-
running into issues with the green paint that the, traffic safety bike ped wanted for the bikes, and there was a huge difference in by making it green. But that's a question too, though, is if we colored the white paint, would it change the chemical makeup? And,
So the city has a surplus of white paint? Is that what I'm hearing?
no, I'm just saying that it would, the city knows what kind of paint sticks best.
Yeah.
Sure.
Although that's a county issue, is the painting of the lines, but
Right.
they still know. I mean, Bill would know.
Well, I know City of Salem works with Miller Paint, because they know their products and they know what will adhere. So I was
That sounds
thinking we
great.
would lean towards Sherwin-Williams as our local, and they would know the right product. But again, this is up to the city to decide how this is, again, I just gave the idea and
I have a
the starting point.
question about the supervising the installation. I have concerns about that. So who do you envision would be sort of supervising that?
What type of
Because I know
supervision are
that
you
that kind of
thinking?
thing can be where things fall apart.
Like when they set the date and they start to paint, who is going to,
Well, I'd imagine whoever the applicant is, so be it, let's say the neighborhood association proposes, then whoever that chair is would be the applicant, and they would be the one responsible to the city for making sure everything is handled per the rules, is my envision.
And that
I
it
understand what you're saying.
Because things evolve. As an artist, I understand that things evolve and change. And so we need to just verify that the template that we were given is actually transferred to that.
And that's where, I mean, there's hopefully some integrity on the person applying who's going to make sure it happens, but that would.
I love the idea of involving the neighborhood associations with that, whoever neighbor. That's a
Suspect
great
that's who's
idea,
going to lead
Tammy.
the efforts.
Well, and another really good reason to involve Public Works, because they have the, the barricades and those kinds of things. And so, just making sure that went through that department.
Well, they'd have to get it, sorry, I keep interrupting.
Oh,
Nope.
that's okay, it's a dialogue.
They'd have to get a permit. I'd imagine we'd need to make sure that, like you would a block party, you have to get permission to shut the road down for X amount of hours. And so through that whole process, I would imagine all the ins and outs that the city would need to ensure everything is done safely and correctly comes together.
No, one more question. So we just passed an amendment to, the traffic safety bike ped in terms of the process. Would this art need a 75% approval of the neighbors?
There is, I thought, something built in there.
Ooh, I don't remember reading that. Wait,
I know Salem's did, so I thought I kept it, but I didn't look at it before coming.
I think it said adjacent neighbors, didn't it? Or did it say?
No, it said adjacent, you're right. And
Okay.
so, again, this is just a starting point. It's whatever
Yeah.
the city wants to have as they feel should be. This is a little different, I think, than a traffic calming through the NTSP, because that is something that is, aside from the speed feedback sign, like putting a speed table, that's affecting anybody who drives up and down the road.
Yeah.
So if your house is not adjacent to the art, I'm hopeful that you're not going to have as much of an opinion on whether it's there or not. But again, this is up for decision beyond me.
So Adam, from your perspective, would that same rule apply?
I think this program could be designed, it doesn't, I don't think that rule would apply necessarily, only if you design it that way.
Which is another good reason to keep this art and not traffic calming.
It isn't in Appendix C, which is traffic calming measures.
We need our own
that got
appendices
scratched
here.
Yeah, let's not put it in Appendix C.
No.
No, and it could be a happy byproduct. It could be a happy accident that, oh my gosh, cars are slowing down.
And that's what is going to happen per like nationwide studies and
Yeah.
just over time.
Anything
Yes,
that creates interest slows cars.
yes. So I'm really, really excited when we get this
So
rolling.
who's the next person to take this on? Adam. To like make it into, like, if we like this and say, we want this to go the next step and now make it into the things that need to be in here that aren't in here, because I don't think any of us know those technical aspects that aren't in here. The overall program that Tammy proposed, I mean, I thought it was terrific.
Yeah, it's a great place to start, a great starting point. And I think we could take it to the staff with a motion from KPAC and get some feedback from the street crews and the executive
So
leaders.
they'll massage this,
Yep, and they can
then
bring
it'll
it
come back
to
to us. Okay, perfect. I would move that we ask staff to get this to the appropriate departments, and they can add their technical aspects to it, and then come back to us for final look and approval before we recommend it to city council to add to our master plan.
Well said.
One thing that we kind of touched on but never continued, if the city's going to provide paint, and given the numbers that I've shared, of course, it's only going to go up from there. How will that be funded? How many per year are you going to be willing to do? Like if in the first year 3 want to be done, how are we going to approach that?
Oh, what was our budget again? Anybody remember?
6,000?
No, I know, but what did we spend on these? Wasn't it 3,000?
No. It was no, we never budget that.
That
It's
was
whatever's
last
left.
year's budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2,000,
So how much was it, Adam?
under 2,000.
Yeah, I think so
Okay.
too.
So maybe I'm just thinking. Okay, well, these aside, if we just did one mural or street art every year instead of that, we'd be in the ballpark.
Totally, we would. And in addition to that, the utility boxes that are $1,000 a pop, since we've put those 2 up, we've had 2 other people come forward, Hirsch, and then a couple of city councilors want to get together and put one in. So we could have, people can adopt those too. So they could come to us and say, if it's $1,500 for the supplies and materials, we fundraised and we got that, so we can have another one. But I think you're right on, Laura. I think we should make an attempt to do at least one a year.
So, Mr. Brown, as you talked to staff about this, my research with Salem, the folks said that because I asked about the lifespan of how long they last, and they said it does last several years. I can't remember what number. I think I put it in there. About 3. But the first one that this particular neighborhood association did was still looking really vibrant, and she believes it's because they primed it really well. So-
Point of order. We have a motion on the table without the second.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we need a second for that motion. And that's to move it to staff.
Second, yeah.
Oh.
I'll second.
Okay,
So
so
now we did discussion.
Okay, yeah, discussion was before. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that because I saw the pictures on their website of the ones they've did, and then I happened to drive over one, and I was like, "Whoa, this is really worn out." But sounds like they've done some trial and error and figured out how to make it last. as long as they
Right,
can.
right. And so we can easily look into that even more before we pull the trigger on allowing it to move forward, just to make sure that the ones we do put in are at a good starting point. I only bring that up because the quantity of paint then to calculate in as costs will be a factor on, is there 2 layers of primer or only 1 layer? And she said 2 worked well, just so you know what we're working with.
I think it would be good to talk with Grant also, because Grant Neighborhood Association, they've done 2, and 1 faded much quicker than the other one. And so for, like, you're talking trial and error just from their mistakes and what they did, like, and I was there for one of them, and then also kind of wanted to point out too that when doing them, so I was there for the scan. I did a party for the scan one in celebration, and they had done all the prep work and painting the day before, and they did the block party the next day. Grant tried to do the same thing for the last one, but the heat, because we had that massive heat wave, so they wound up having to paint it because they couldn't reschedule that. But then they had to do the party a month later, and it didn't look nearly as vibrant. They were really surprised about that, so it was also really recent too. So just some things to think
So
about.
heat was the factor?
Well, they don't know, but I know that they painted it when it was really hot, when we had that plus 100 plus degree day. And so they wound up postponing the party to Salem's Night Out, or National Night Out. And so, so it kind of shifted. So just while we're kind of planning these, I think sometime, like our window where we have that little spring, summer, where it's not quite summer, but it's not still spring, but not so much when it's super hot come July, August. Because they said they didn't understand why it was fading so fast.
It could have been heat.
And so I don't know if heat was a factor, but I think it might be good to talk with the planning for Grant on that specifically. And then another thought I had while kind of going through this is, if we're having like a process of like who to talk to, just my own thoughts is that if we get the neighborhood association to kind of plan and submit and start there and then go to City Works and then with us with art, it would really suck to plan a really nice art piece for a spot that you can't actually place it on. So as just kind of a thought process for like a 3-chain command, like, does the community want it in that neighborhood? Will Public Works approve the space? And then let's do the art. Just for,
I think the application would have to include adjacent neighbors' approval. They'd have to sign off on that with the neighbor's name and address, so that we'd know that at least the neighbors have signed off on it. And then we would have to sign off on the design, and then Public Works can say yes or no. But you're right, if we do that, and they say, yeah, we're not gonna do that. Well, I mean, but I doubt that that will happen. If they follow what's in the program, that should not happen. So,
Do we have design leads, like folks? Because that's been sort of a roadblock for us, like finding artists with good design.
My thoughts were we talked to McNary
Yeah,
art students if they want to have some of their artwork.
gosh, that's so hard.
Why?
it's hard.
It's so hard. But I mean, I'm happy to do it. There's 3 of them. They team teach. They've been very receptive, and the McNary Art Show is every February over at Keizer Art Association, and they are faithful. Every February, they get those kids to do art and bring it over. But Laura can verify this. It is so challenging for teachers because they have so much to do. So every time I have to talk with Todd or Mark, I'm like this saying, do you think maybe you talk to your students about this? Because it's just one more straw on the camel's back.
No, I understand that, and I would look at it more of a, hey, whoever wants to submit or provide a
Just an open call to artists.
right, just open call. Whoever wants to
and-
provide,
Yeah, and I can.
let us know.
I can go just run, present it as an opportunity, we
Yeah.
don't, yeah, and
be
and
great.
Katie could
If
do
we're
that
only
too.
There needs to
talking
be a
one a year.
definitely for some specs around it, because we want like specific, like just a choice of like images. Like we need kind of like a rubric to rein. I used to be a high school art teacher. Like we gotta rein them in a little bit. Like a nice, I don't know, like a circular design. Like maybe just like 4 or 5 different like. It needs to be a circular design. It needs to include, whatever. I don't know how much we want to rein them in, but if you don't have that, then you're going to wind up with sort of subpar stuff, and we're going to be spending a lot of time and money and effort and on some artwork that's maybe not that dynamic. I mean, because that is important. The final product is important also. Like I love the community involvement and everything, but also there's that.
So, art teacher, Perhaps you'd work on the rubrics.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do that.
Well,
No, I mean, I'm just,
that's
I-
what
I
this-
am
that's what this
sorry,
committee
but
is-
she brought it out and then volunteered.
That's what this committee is for too, is to approve those kinds of things. So that's,
Absolutely.
you know, that,
And you're the one with the
Okay,
experience.
yes, all right, I'll come with a rubric.
That we have to match again? Mhm.
You're already working within, what's the width of most of our streets here? 40? No, not even, because we don't have park, so 2 lanes, so 24? So let's say, if they get a box on a piece of paper, I'm sorry? Right, okay, so, well, if we think well, good point. I'm picturing each lane is 11 feet normally urban.
Yeah,
So
ish.
22.
Yeah,
Let's just, if you want to standardize it, give them a 20 by 20 square, work within, saying this is what you get, just so it's consistently square. And then if you want to do circular, you can even put the circle in there for them and then say, show us what you can do.
And probably a grid, because they'll have to complete it by squares of the grid. Like, you can't just like you just can't take like an image and then transfer it. You have to do it.
so let me amend my motion to say, I would like to move that we ask Kat to put some parameters around what each design has to look like. Upon completion of that, we would then ask staff to do the technical aspect of the program and then bring it back to us for a final approval.
I don't know that we need to do that at this stage,
I think that,
because if we can, I mean,
No.
yeah, well, Public Works needs to know, but I think that the rubric and that can come to us after we do the Public Works. You know, if the Public Works weighs in on this,
yeah.
and then when it comes back to us, you know, that'll give Kat some time to work on the rubric. That's when we can,
But you don't think Public Work needs to know that, Laura?
the rubric?
We'll
Yeah?
just say, we're giving you a quality product.
Yeah, I would say maybe dimensions
That's
that
what
they
I was
might need to
thinking.
know.
Yeah.
You know, but, or they can weigh in. I would think that that'd be something, same meeting. But I would think that that would be something that they would like to weigh in on, is the dimensions.
Yeah.
And so,
That's why I was thinking a rubric first, then it goes to Public Works to say, yeah, that'll work or that won't work.
well,
But I don't care, I'm not,
yeah, I'm just thinking to get the ball rolling, and then that would give Kat a little bit more time to put some thought into the rubric. And then maybe Public Works, because we don't really even know what we're asking of Public Works, since that's not our bailiwick.
it's new.
So, I don't know, Adam, what do you think?
Lead us.
I think they could go simultaneously. The staff can be looking at that, and then the rubric, I mean, the only thing that is gonna probably be a factor that the staff would care about is the size, which is relationship to the road width, so. But I think as far as the direction, the artistic direction is more of, yeah, it needs to
So
be
maybe
solid
the
colors.
amendment would be to give input on size and color as well?
Like if you do a black and white.
Or do we need
design
to-
And you're already got
Yeah,
street marking, I mean, that's not gonna work.
maybe we don't need that level of specificity in the motion, though?
Whatever you want.
Just design. We could just say design process and,
So the motion is ask staff to review
And give recommendation.
and give recommendations to us. At the same time, Kat will be working on the design.
Yeah, but I don't think that part needs a motion at this
You
point.
don't? Okay.
I mean, because those are two separate, I mean, it could, but I think those are two separate things. I think, you know, getting the
I
feedback
think they
from,
are too, but,
so it's,
okay, so let's just go with
want to
this.
second that, Laura?
let's at least make it two separate motions.
Okay, so let's go with this. I move that we ask staff to,
Okay, there's a motion on the table already, so are we amending it?
I'm removing it.
Okay.
Sorry, Dawn. So, new motion. New motion is forward the basic plan that's been presented to us to staff for review and edit whatever technical things need to be edited to that, and then come back to us for final approval.
Okay. It just, I would like to see the word recommendation in there somewhere.
Recommendation,
To come back with recommendations
Come back.
regarding.
yes, I accept. Come back with recommendations to the committee before approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed.
I move that Kat, go ahead, gavel down. I move that Kat work on the design qualifiers, Laura did, work on the design qualifiers so that we've got consistency of color and size.
Okay, do we even need a motion for that, I guess is a good question.
I don't know.
Okay,
Why
I'll
not?
second.
Chicken soup.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed.
Move to give Kat work.
Yeah, more work.
Okay.
Brochure coming. No.
Yeah. You had to bring that up.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much, Tammy.
Thank you, Tammy, that's a great
No,
idea.
wait, don't leave for a minute.
Okay. And if you, in Public Works need my assistance at all, let me know.
So the next one, Madam Chair.
Is there more?
Oh, yeah. Tammy, the other Tammy, remember it
Oh,
was the
yeah.
night of Tammys. That was Tammy Coons, but Tammy Coons, her proposal, I think, it was originally supposed to be directed at putting murals in parks. And like, what I would like to see is for Tammy to work with Tammy to get a nice, clean, concise, is that something you'd be open to?
Well, and maybe, if I might, maybe that's more of the purview of parks, or maybe we should just do one thing at a time. You know, this street art program falls under this umbrella, I would think. But it seems to me that these are two very big projects, and to do them simultaneously.
Well, what I'm thinking is, neither one of these are currently exist in our master plan. So neither one of them have any funding possibilities. So if we get the program outlined and nailed down to where we want to add it to our master plan, we could send both of those programs in an amended master plan to city council, and then they would be able to be funded. I mean, we're definitely looking at next year. I can't imagine we'll do this in the next 3 months. Maybe.
So basically what we're looking at is turning Tammy Kunz's proposal into a program more like that.
That's what we asked.
So a public arts, or a park arts.
Mural.
Yeah, so a parks mural program.
Uh-huh,
So that's what we need, is to get the parks mural program.
correct.
Is that a motion?
Now, Salem may have a program for that. Because Hood View Park was one, and Kathy Matram worked on another one in Eastgate? Is there an Eastgate Park or something like that? If you can't find anything, reach out to me and I'll give you Kathy's contact, and you can, because I know that Kathy organized that community response and did exactly this in a park. So
Yeah, and I would
I
recommend
don't know
too-
if it's a formalized program in Salem, but if we get lucky, it might be.
Well, and I'm thinking, Tammy Saldivar, who has, nothing to do with parks, and it's just, we assume that you have time now that the traffic safety plan has been approved. I would really like to see her work, and the only reason I assume that we're asking Tammy is because she's already done such a fabulous job with
Yes.
that. But maybe work, maybe work with somebody on the Parks Board in addition to, roping, there you go.
Well, there's one right there.
And who also has contacts to, this commission.
Okay, so this is like a match made in heaven.
So, yeah, I don't want to put this all on Tammy. I would like to see, maybe if you, I'm going to say 3, and just, I'm volunteering y'all, but, just process-wise, if you can look at what Tammy Kunz has and just kind of boil it down to look more like what you did with that. And I think we'd like to see
Perfect.
that for next month.
Perfect. That would be great.
If you-
And
and
you don't get it
you
done
can
next month,
assign somebody else
there's
too.
the following month.
Yeah.
No pressure.
When is your master plan amendment proposal? I don't know
Whenever
what's
we
the
get these
words.
2 programs done.
Okay, so there's no time
There's
period
no-
you're supposed to do it in?
No, Tammy, we just appreciate you doing the work so much You saw that at our last meeting when you said, wait, I'll do the program. Yes. So whenever you get it done, there's no timeline. We can't start on them until you get them done and we approve them and it goes through. So there's a few months' work to do, but make it easy on yourself. We so appreciate your efforts on both these programs.
It's been my pleasure, and not a problem. I will get with the right folks.
Yeah,
We're a family here, I'm told.
Oh, yes.
we are. Don't you know?
Hi there. I was looking through my phone when we started having this conversation, and the last time I was up in Portland, I was walking around because I was waiting for an appointment, and I saw a beautiful mural on the side of a building, and it was untouched by graffiti, and
yeah,
next
never
to
are.
it is fences that are covered with graffiti,
Right.
dumpsters that are covered with graffiti.
Yes.
Everything is covered with graffiti except for this nice mural. So I can send a picture of that to Dawn, and Dawn can forward it to the group.
We know that.
I know.
Oh.
But it's nice to see it in a place that is known for its graffiti.
You can drive down River Road and you look at the PGE utility boxes and they're all tagged.
Absolutely.
You look at the wraps.
Yeah, and so if you could just bring this to the Parks Board, and if you don't want to do it, you can say, who's willing to work with.
Well, right.
Yeah.
The beauty of being the vice chair
Yep.
is that,
And
I'm
frame
just
it-
in charge of vice, and this is not vice.
Yeah, so just frame it in those terms. If you can just float that idea by the Parks Board so that we can loop them in to this, and maybe even possible identifying, because there's only 19 parks. There's a whole lot more intersections than there are parks.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
so yeah, if we could just work with the Parks Board on that too, that would be
Okay.
I was
fantastic.
already thinking that. So maybe we'll talk, do you know if Portland has a program?
I do not. No, because I don't spend time there. I just was
I
there,
didn't know
and
if
it was.
in your research in this spur of the moment.
No, it was just because when I have time, I walk around and I take pictures of things.
Well, and you think of the parks with surfaces, and that's pretty limited too. We don't have too many parks with paintable surfaces.
No, but I can think. We live fairly close to Willamette Manor Park, and there are people who have wooden fences there that get tagged constantly.
And that was
So, especially right next to the is it Phipps? Okay. So, like either next door or next door to next door, there is a house that has a little detached garage or a detached something that's right on the park, and it is constantly tagged. So you would think that we could approach them and say, hey, would you mind if we painted the back of your garage?
Yeah, that's
So you know how this
fantastic.
was started? So Bridget Miller started this at Hoodview. She had a 10-foot section that was her fence. And she kept getting tagged. So she painted her 10-foot section. Neighbors saw this and said, I would do that. And so then it was 20-foot. And then it was 40 feet. And now it's the entire park. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is spectacular. And amazingly, no graffiti.
Well, in Keizer Rapids Park, all along the backyard of all those houses on Tate,
Right on.
they're almost all wooden fences. So if we could contact them, there's a chance of doing that because those get tagged all the time too.
Yeah, I know.
Are we proposing to write all of these scenarios into the plan?
No.
So
I
we're
mean, I
just
don't think you need
talking
to.
city
Just talk-
property.
Just talk, I would just talk murals,
Concept.
mural,
The same level of concept as you had for the street art.
Okay.
Okay, so now how do we contact Tammy to say we'd like you to work with Tammy?
I'll reach out to her.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I got that.
Tammy, I love you.
And that's a pretty much, you can do that as a blanket statement with all of the Tammys that show up to meetings.
We'll all work together. Just gonna have a,
Oh, and perhaps, Dawn, you can, okay, I'm way overstepping my bounds here, but if, Lisa, if you want to request that we include Tammy's proposal just as kind of a model in the next Parks packet.
Well, and I was going to ask Dawn if she could put that on the next agenda. just talking about this. And I have a question, most likely for Mr. Brown. Are there restrictions? So if I had a wooden fence right on a park, could I paint whatever I wanted on the back of my wooden fence? No, I mean, no, like with no, I mean, just as a homeowner who owns a fence.
I'll bet she could.
I could paint
What would
pretty much
prevent
whatever
that?
I wanted on that, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah,
I'll bet she could.
the only thing I think would restrict it is any type of covenants and restrictions from
CCRs.
each HOA, or as long as it's not a sign, it's considered a sign, so
Right. So I couldn't,
can't advertise for Michelin
No.
tires, but
but I could write vote on the back of, I could
Yeah.
paint vote on my sign, and
Yeah.
as
You can-
long
I
as I
mean,
don't
there's
say
even-
for anybody.
personal expression, yeah.
Well, yeah. But if I wanted to do geometric designs or,
about that,
flowers
person.
or,
Think about that.
Right.
We might want to have something that says, if it is facing a public park, can we say that?
yeah, but that's the thing is, it's their personal property. They put up, I mean, it's not our fence. And most of the time, Public Works doesn't cover all the graffiti that gets put on those either. So, I know that the pump house at Willamette Manor was tagged 2 days ago. And so, hey, what would Public Works think about their pump house having lovely flowers painted on it? Or a waterfall, since it's a water pump house.
I think that's great. I say, let's cover the town in art.
So who's funding the paint for these?
Yeah, I think this
This isn't as critical as on the roadway where you're driving, because you can use, from both of these women who did these spontaneous art programs, they started out with latex paint and would tint just, like Bridget said, I had leftover paint from my living room. And so she started out with that and tinted it different colors, and it's lasted beautifully. Then eventually, the city of Salem did kick in and buy additional paint for her because it became such a big deal, and she had so many community members working on that mural. So I would say that's something that certainly,
So you don't want anything written into the plan since we're developing it? That's why I'm asking the questions.
or I would say consideration of.
Okay.
Consideration of supplies and paint, so that if they bring that plan to us and we have money available and we can do it, why wouldn't we do it?
Okay, that's what I need to know.
So, and this, this is just a conversation. This is not really.
Right.
But since fence painting is not as specific as painting a roadway, is there a way that we could ask if the community, if they have leftover paint that they want to recycle or donate, that we could have some donations of the dark blue that they painted their kids' bedroom and
We can work with Lauren Sanitation because they have that spot behind that you people put the old paint in. Maybe
Right.
they can somehow work with us.
okay.
Just a thought.
Or put it out there to the community.
I think that's a value add. I don't think that needs to be in the program.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah,
I'm
but I
just,
love
I'm
the
just
idea.
wondering
I mean,
aloud.
why not? I've got some right now in my garage.
Of course you do.
There's also, there's a group that has different paints. We went for our nonprofit, we went and collected, and you can get 15 gallons, and they move around month to month. I have I don't remember offhand the name of the group, but I have a magnet at my shop.
Well, I go to Uptown Music a whole lot, so I will be right next door to your shop a lot.
All right, yeah, come on in. I'll give you their thing, but they move around and they usually do it at churches. But it was like 4 or 5 hours, and they just gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons of paint, and you usually get more than 15 gallons, because they're just trying to give it away. Otherwise, they have to take
Absolutely.
it back to their warehouse, and they're always accepting paint also. So just
That's something.
it was something we stumbled on when we were desperately looking for paint for our mural.
Okay.
So do we even need a motion for this? I don't think we do, because we really don't have a program that this was just a conversation, and Tammy will reach out to Tammy, and then we'll reconvene, right? Okay.
Then anytime we edit the master plan, do we need a motion on that, or adding to the master plan?
Oh, we will when we add to it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because that's a formal document, and that allows us to fund.
Oh, okay, awesome. Good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I sincerely can't tell you how much we appreciate your help with these community projects. It's just the best.
This is easy. This is nothing. Do you need me anymore?
No, no, you can get to go home now, Tammy.
Go eat dinner. Okay, next on our agenda is the gallery display schedule. We have these wonderful Native American Indian displays. We need a motion to approve.
So here's the dealio, more than that. Okay, so these are actual photographs of the murals that are painted on the walls of Chemawa Indian School. So as you walk down the hallway, it is literally one after another. You're like walking in an art gallery, and that's what they are. And what they let students do, this is all student art. And that's a federal school, and so they have kids coming from all 50 states. So that's why you'll see different states. I know there's Wisconsin over there, there's Arizona, there's Alaska. At any rate, these are the ones that Keizer Art Association chose to display in our gallery last November, and we lined them up on the walls so that you can have somewhat of the same feeling. That Chemawa Indian School is like in lockdown, it's very secure. So you will never get in there to see these without special permission. So they allowed us to photograph them, and we did, and then we had them reprinted from Pronto. So I don't know how far this will go, but if you remember, we talked about adding more to this, that we could then either do one of the galleries or into the other gallery, whatever we want. And I forgot how much money we allocated to do that. But the good news about it is it's a one-time expense, and we can repeat this on an annual basis for Native American Heritage Month. So it's a one-time expense. Keizer Art is happy to share these with you. And we will not be putting this up this year. So there you go. So I have 45. We have 45 potential images. And they're different, as you can see. They're like the actual size of what the murals are. And they're different size. And so, but you can, you just line them up against one after another. So Dawn is going to get I gave her a flash drive with all 45 images on there. She's going to identify which image, that includes these images. So she's going to identify which images we already have, so you don't have to pick those, and then pick more images that we want to then have Pronto print for us. And they're about $100 a piece. Like that big one might have been 125, that really long one. But if I remember right,
Laura, how did you hang these? You didn't frame them, right?
oh no. So you know what we used? And I'll bet you we could use it. No, we don't have any walls, do we? Adam, are they all brick? They're all brick. Well, we got a little test coming up. Because I bought hooks to hang the pictures of the Four Seasons because it's on a brick wall. And so I did research and found brick wall command hooks that we're going to try right here. If those work, we could hang them that way. Or we can get clips, and we could clip them from the top and hang them using the
The
hanging
wires,
system.
yeah.
We use command strips. They work perfect. But we had walls. We had real walls.
No. Okay, thank you.
That's how we did it. So I think we're going to have to do clips, but we could do clips.
So,
It's not going to look like it was painted on the wall, but it's going to give you that feeling of walking through a wall. And then I think we should write something up that says these are the actual student murals that are painted on the walls of Chemawa Indian.
or perhaps ask the tribes to come up with that. The tribal council.
I can connect with the executive.
Because I would like them to speak for themselves, I guess, is kind of where I'm going with that. If they could introduce their own art and tell about its significance, I think that would be or at least give them the opportunity, whether they want to or not. So,
October's coming.
yeah, well, so for today, do we need to just approve this as a concept without approving the actual collection?
Example of what all the art looks like.
Okay.
There's nothing in there that you need to be fearful about as far as family-friendly content. It's all like this, and most of them use their individual size logos or a portion of the logos as they're identified, and I think that's real interesting.
I can tell you, I taught at a tribal college in Montana. So 4 of these are from Montana. This one's from the very reservation I worked on. That's Tuego River School. And so, and Crow
The
Tribe.
big one is the long one?
Yeah, that's from Salish Kootenai College, or Salish, the Pend Oreille Salish and Kootenai tribe. And the Blackfeet is up by Glacier. Crow is down by Billings. So, yeah.
And this artist has since become.
And that's Great Falls.
And that, he's become a very famous
Yeah.
Indian artist. So this one and this one, and they were showing all the Indian schools.
Do we need to get their permission?
We have permission from the school.
Okay.
That's how we have all these and have displayed them. And the school has told us, in honor of Native American Heritage Month, we can put stuff here and we can put stuff at Keizer Art Association.
Nice. Thanks, Laura.
Yeah, because
Who wants to make a motion?
belong to the school. These no longer belong to the individual artists.
Yeah, that's, yeah, thank you.
And that was so much better than having to get individual artists. So you're gonna get the little, so the flash drive, Dawn's gonna get the flash drives made, then she's gonna send an email and say, come get your flash drive. So then you have to get on your flash drive and pick how many more, what do you want, what else do you want? But I would say, we have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'd say at least another 10. So that's probably approximately another $1,000, and I think we did budget at least that. But I think we pick at least another 10
Before when?
quickly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, October is in a couple of weeks.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's why we're having this discussion tonight. So, yeah, so Dawn can get it done. What day is today? Tuesday. So could you get them by Friday? And I'm gonna look at your files and see if there's anything I can do to zip them or something, so that maybe I can email them.
Can I make a,
Beyond my technical ability.
can I make a suggestion too? If we put this in like a Google,
Drive.
no, Google quiz format, what is it called?
Oh, form?
Yes, Google Forms, thank you. So if we had like a Google form so everybody could pick their top 10 or whatever, that would be a really easy way to compile all of that.
Ranking them or something? Oh.
Because there might be, just so that we can get 10.
Well, and similar to what, Adam did with the legislative priorities, just so we can rank them, either just however many gets votes, or if we, this many had 4 or whatever. So those kinds of, whatever. I just think that Google Forms would be an easier ranking system, because that would just make it super easy.
Great. That's beyond my technical ability.
Dawn, can you do that? Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Who's making a motion?
I would move to approve the Native American Indian display using replicated murals.
Second, well, okay. Could we do all of the things that we need to approve in one motion?
The Mid-Valley Quilt and Cindy
Oh.
Ingram.
Do we need to, do we need to?
We have samples of Cindy Ingram?
I think she's been here before, and that's why we don't.
Okay.
I did go back, and it looks like we need to make a motion after we receive the artwork.
We usually do, but that was Shannon. Joe might be different because we always wanted to say, if they've already displayed with us before, they know the rules, we felt confident that we weren't going to, and remember too.
That's a
if they-
little risky, though.
Well, if they put something up that we feel's inappropriate, we get to take it down.
Yeah.
So there's those safeguards as well.
Yeah.
So I like your idea. Let me amend my motion. Move to approve the gallery display schedule as noted in the agenda. October, November, Native American Indian display. December, January, Mid-Valley Quilt Guild. February, March, Cindy Ingram.
Second,
Are we going to add anything to that that says contingent on like our approval of the thing? I mean, you said we could take it.
Yeah, I would like to run this by, Joe too. Just as, so we don't get in trouble anyway. This concept.
The Cindy Ingram one, because we're not seeing any samples of her work.
In this packet, she's displayed before, we've
Right.
been perfectly happy before. We
Yes.
are going under that assumption.
Yes.
And, apparently Shannon didn't like that, but if we can run that by Joe, that would probably be smart.
And I'm not familiar with who Cindy is, but Michelle Lidkey is the one coordinating the quilts.
No, this isn't the quilts. This is February, March.
Oh, okay.
Cindy Ingram.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
No, the quilts are fine.
And does February, March have to be approved tonight? If,
No?
Yeah, I would actually.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I amend my motion to say approve the gallery display schedule for October, November, December, and January.
Accepted.
It's been moved and approved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and those opposed? Okay, it's been, motion passes.
Okay, so Laura and I have a scheduling conflict.
Tonight? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there?
Do you know Cindy Ingram?
I don't.
Okay.
So do we know, so is there anything we need a quorum for before we leave?
The only one that I think we might is the new business, the Larry Gross question. Like, what's the dealio?
Can we skip ahead then? Okay.
Yeah.
I've been through this on a couple of different times, and you actually get into more of First Amendment issues by trying to exclude than just to accepting work, a class of artwork as a whole. So
Right, but is it, I don't remember. Did Larry Gross turn in a piece of art that was rejected?
I remember we talked about the naming of one maybe a year ago.
Okay.
One of his
From
works.
his, okay.
Yeah, and because it was a Christian themed, that this group talked about it, and that's where again there are a couple different experiences that I've had over my career where if you try to exclude anything for those reasons, you're actually violating rather than trying to keep something washed or clean of any
Did
type
we-
of speech.
Did we provide feedback to him saying that it was rejected because of nudity?
Who is KCC is my question.
Keizer Cultural Center? I think that's Keizer Cultural Center.
Okay, so that would be the Art Association.
I had a show at KCC. One of my pieces was rejected by the commission because of nudity.
Or Keizer Civic Center.
Oh, maybe.
It could be.
Oh,
either.
maybe.
Either one of them, but I do remember us
To find that out.
talking, because he's the one that does it in like a paint medium, and then he also does them in wood too, or am I thinking about another artist?
I do not know.
I think,
But why is this in our agenda?
I placed it in there because of the question, and I wanted to get
So
an
he
answer to
emailed
him.
you?
Yes, and he wanted to, he wants a placeholder to have his stuff on display next year, I think in November.
Oh, he wants to schedule?
Yes, he wants, yeah. And I encouraged him to submit his artwork and his application because it's first come, first serve upon your approval. And he proposed this question, and I thought, well, maybe if we get this question out of the way, that would be helpful to him.
Is there any policy, anything in any of the policies regarding Christianity and/or nudity?
Family-friendly standard. So appropriate,
Well, that's fine.
appropriate viewing from,
Kids?
from kids, yeah, from ages 3 to 93. So it's broad and intentionally so, because that leaves it up. There's been rarely that we've said, no, this isn't going to cut it. And it's usually because of nudity, but not necessarily all the time. Luckily, we've never gotten anything that portrayed something violent or, something that we would deem as non-family friendly. But This has served Keizer Art Association well. It really has. We don't say nudity. We don't say any of that. We say family-friendly content because we have families in the building. And so it has served us well to say, it just doesn't meet our criteria. Family-friendly.
I'm just thinking from a public school standpoint, we had to do separation, church and state.
Well, those are two separate issues, and both of those are First Amendment issues.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, yeah, okay.
So I would say the overarching theme for art in the Civic Center is that it has family-friendly content. And that's how I would respond.
well, and I could see something that's described by this could go either way.
Oh, absolutely. But I would just leave it at that and let's see what we get from him. And if he wants to push the issue, then I guess we have to
Do
push
we
the
want
issue.
to do that, the Christmas card, or the holiday card?
Wait, there's a holiday card on here?
On the
very
No, they're just
The application.
the form.
Oh, it's just the form.
Oh, okay.
You don't need us for that. Okay, Laura. Let's go. Let's run.
Okay, I'm going back to 5. Does anybody have any information as far as grant efforts? Was there any, just kind of, that's always an agenda item to see if there's anything?
it is.
Okay, great, thank you. And then a review of the Arts Commission budget, which is on the page 12. And I think that I've added 300 has been spent. I just added the Christmas card, which I can't remember how much that was, like $25?
It's a $100 gift card to Michael's.
Thank you, $100. And then the street art is $1,500 potentially, so. Am I missing anything else on that that hasn't been added to? We've taken care of the wraps from that previous year's budget. Do we need to add it to this budget then? For this one, and that's 1,000. Did we plan on doing 2 of them, right? So 2,000?
Yes, they've already been approved, so yeah, we should put that in there.
All right, so that's like 3,600.
Haven't spent it. In
Got 2,100 remaining.
Don was just informing, we have the artist agreements on 2 of them. We're just waiting on 1 more, but we should be proceeding with 2 other ones that the KPAC approved.
Okay. What was the first part? The artists, what?
The artist agreement for the box wraps.
All right. Thank you.
Might I add something or ask something about the utility wraps? Have you noticed the installation on Lock Haven? It looks a little bubbly. It looks like it wasn't installed properly.
No, I didn't notice that. I'll go take a look at it. I also don't like that they put the seam facing the road. It should have been on the one of the back.
Great, because it's flat, but the one on Lock Haven, it looks, I thought, well, maybe it's the image that is that. And then I've gone by it many times, and it looks like it's not installed properly.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Just asking.
When you give them, I'm assuming it's you give them the dimensions and you do the bleed line or whatever, so we know exactly what's going to go and what it's going to look like on the wrap.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. That's my concern, because when I was talking about the street thing, like, I want it, if it's going to be representative of us, I want it to be, I know there's a lot of breakdown there between what the concept is and what the installation is. So I had that same concern. I did the whole walk, actually, one Sunday morning. It was like 9 miles. I walked 9 miles and did this QR codes, checked them all. So that was really cool. And then I got to that one, I was like, what's going on?
Right.
So I just wondering if there's some oversight or supervision of when those are installed.
Yeah, and that one was that was the first one we did, and we improved it by concept. We didn't actually see a final drawing of it. We just saw a color scheme of it, and we didn't have the dimensions or figure out how we were going to digitize it either. So I think as we're working through that, there were coming to a better process of the artists are providing the digitized version of it, and also with Mackenzie, the one that's going, Mackenzie Melody, is that right? That's going up on Lock Haven and Keizer Station Boulevard.
Right.
Thursday, it's going up, and she asked for the specific each sides and made sure that when it wrapped around, that it actually the design joined together. Of course, it was a little easier. Hers is digital, but I think we ought to provide that guidance with the knowing that they're doing a four-sided and not a flat
Yeah, it's hard to
service. Yeah,
parse how to-
This is, this,
Right, right.
that's the concept of it. Yeah. Yep.
which I would have liked to have seen that iris, because that's the reason why we chose it.
Exactly. And it's facing the river, the creek. It's facing the creek. So, yeah.
Maybe who do we go through on the rest?
Service graphics. Yeah, I'll
They
talk
could
to them.
provide us, I know when I have stuff professionally printed, like you need a bleed line and you need like the dimensions and everything, and then like. But I don't.
Yeah, they asked for the bleed line, and I got that. The artist asked for that, and I got it for him. So, yeah, we're kind of figuring it out as we go.
It's like the first pancake.
Right, right. And another question, so how long are they displayed?
Indefinitely, yeah. Yeah, totally.
My comment about the way they're displayed, some of them are not really in sharp focus. And that makes me sad. The cows look a little, I mean, they're cool, but the dimensions of it are off, and we've already talked about that. We need to make sure whoever's doing the artwork knows that it has to be something that can wrap around together. And then being able to blow it up. I mean, that's kind of important, and the kind of art I do, I have no idea how to do that, but, there are professional people who know how to do that, and we'd encourage them to maybe submit something that's four-sided, maybe, I don't know.
A minimum resolution. on it.
Yeah,
Say it needs to be such and such.
right, yeah.
Good, I'm glad you all saw the same thing I did, so good.
Yeah,
Very good.
Okay, so we looked at the budget, looks like we're doing okay there. We discussed the new business some, that seems like it could be a deeper conversation. Then other business is reviewing the holiday card submission form for approval. Is that in?
Chair,
Last page.
Chair, before you go on, before we leave that subject, this was obviously, she knew what she was doing more than we did, but this is what Mackenzie submitted. She knew the four sides of it, and then she even said Lock Haven side,
Oh, that's,
wow,
So that is the kind of direction.
Yes.
And what I've had Service Graphics do is actually go out and measure them. They're measuring it, and then I'm giving the dimensions back to the artist rather, because the first time I went and measured it, they're like, oh, it's a little off. So I was like, why don't you just go measure it? So,
That's-
but
get the vibrant color.
that was really great the way she did it
I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yes,
too. Thursday morning at 9:30.
oh, I agree.
I'll walk around and look
be
at it
cool.
again. Excellent, thank you. Okay, looking at the form, trying to recall any kind of conversation that we had around this. Pretty much the same as last year. Did we had one?
Yeah, I just updated with the dates for the year.
Okay, so it's a contract and it's run through legal?
No, it may have back in the day.
Contract between myself and the city. Great. Oh, nice. It's nice that it has a QR code. Really great. Okay, do we need to approve that then?
I just checked and the QR code does work. It takes you to the 2024 Keizer Public Art Commission. So if It takes you to 2024 application. If there's a way to automatically change without having to change the QR code,
Yes.
if you could just pop that in, then that would work. Otherwise, that's my only input for change, the QR code.
And these are just posted on the website, or, yeah, okay. I might have to submit something. Who knows?
This is interesting. Artwork containing religious symbols or words such as Christmas or Hanukkah, advertisements including business logos or licensed characters will not be considered.
This means it just has to be general holiday, so it's not leaving anyone out. Yeah. It's important.
Okay, good. It's good to call that out. Okay, 9 on our agenda is Marilyn. You're going to, how are you feeling about that?
Well, I would love to do it,
Uh-oh.
except I'll be in
Here it comes.
Paris.
Oh, can you call in? Zoom. Zoom. We can Zoom call.
It's awful.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God.
We feel so bad for you. We feel so bad for you.
I know.
Anybody else willing? I'm checking my calendar here really quick. Don't worry, your time's coming.
15 days. What a
Oh,
shame.
what? That's amazing.
I know.
On the 9th, or 7th, pardon me, is a Monday, I can't do it. Anybody else on the committee? I'm teaching a class.
It's going to the council and tell them what we just talked about, you know.
Sometimes Laura's there and she will help you, as you can imagine. So,
Next
would
time,
either of you two,
I'd
do
totally
you
be
want
up
to?
for it the next time.
Well, I did it last time, and we had a full house, overflowing time.
Is that 7th?
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite interesting.
I'm going to be
Someone
at
could
PJ
report
Harvey.
at the October 20th meeting instead.
Is that
Have those
Monday
tickets
also?
for almost a year. Nope.
You mean 21st? Monday? I
21st.
can't do any Mondays.
Oh, that's 2025, yes, yes. So, yeah, 21st.
I'll ask Laura and Laura if they can do that. On the 21st? Okay, anything else? If not, let's adjourn. Thank you, everybody. Oh, go ahead.
Can we talk about the meetings? The
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't see that on there, sorry. Do you want to, Dawn, do you want to talk
Okay,
about the
so in January of 2025, the third Tuesday, which is your normal meeting day, is taken up with the council meeting because the Monday before is a holiday. So would you like to have your meeting a week early or a week late? Would you like January 14th or January 28th?
What's wrong with the 21st?
A council meeting. Oh.
28th, and,
28th then?
yeah.
Oh, okay. No, thank you.
So that leaves the 28th then.
Okay, so then, Parks is on the 14th, and then Arts Commission would be the 21st.
Okay.
Is that right?
No.
Does it?
No,
I
isn't
think
that
we
when
said
you
the-
say the council is
I
going to be
thought
on
we
the
said the 28th,
21st?
because Parks was,
Oh, sorry, I'm getting all mixed up. I'm looking at October.
This is January, right?
Yes, January 2025. So Parks is the 14th, and then the 21st is council. so
Okay.
28th
8th.
would be for arts. Does that work?
that works.
Works.
And then the November one, because it's so close to Thanksgiving, that falls on the 25th. Oh, of 2025?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Just, I was putting the calendar together.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I didn't know if you all wanted to meet the week of Thanksgiving. It's so
No.
close, sometimes it's hard for the members to be here.
Looks like the Thanksgiving would fall on that Thursday, and then the 25th is a Tuesday. I think,
That's pretty close.
are you prepping for 2 days for Thanksgiving?
No, I'm usually gone.
About the
I'm
pie.
usually gone during that time, so
Thanksgiving's on the 28th.
Oh, it is.
27th of 2025.
Okay,
Oh, 2025.
can we move it up to, we'll move it up to the 21st then of October.
Of October.
Does that work for
So
everybody? Or are
October
we gonna be in
21st.
Paris?
No, I'll be back.
You'll be back by then.
I'm not going for 2 months. I'll be fine.
2025.
Now,
I'm
are we
going to
talking about
Italy, I forgot.
2025, right? Okay.
So October 21st would be the November meeting.
Yeah,
Okay,
that makes total sense, you
that's
know?
fine.
We'll put it in there. And of course, you'll give us our dates too, but
Because it's usually the third
yeah.
Tuesday of the month, right?
Thanksgiving? Oh,
No,
isn't Thanksgiving always the third?
Third.
Tuesday?
It's the
Thursday, fourth Thursday.
Fourth.
Yeah.
So we're still meeting on November 19th this year, right?
As far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, a year ahead of time.
Okay, anything else?
The
Did
only
you get
other
what you
thing
need?
that I have a question about is, I was asked to bring all of the holiday card stuff here, the frames and everything, and so I think that you all wanted to talk about when to recognize the 2024 winner.
And we were going to do that at a council meeting.
Yes, it's done at a
And
council
that is
meeting.
in, so I think we wanted to do it in October, actually, because of not having it in November, and then we would need to have it ready by December, right? And do you print all, do they go to a printer and print?
Yeah, so Kim Steen has been doing it for many years. She gets she works it and gets some sort of a discount and takes it to the printer. And then the Arts Commission would reimburse her for the cost.
And was that typically like she needs a week to print all of those? So we need to have them somewhere
Yeah, at
in November.
least, at least. And I thought she had shown someone last year. I can't remember who. She didn't show you, did she?
Yeah, I think she had some card stock or something, yeah. Okay, so, so then the process is that you need to contact the recipient and they need to be there present at the meeting. And they have no idea that they're being awarded?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Yeah, and so either meeting in October, is that fine with the commissioners?
At the city council meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Which it's either going to be Laura or Laura, right? Because none of us can make it to the October. Okay.
I think, I'm guessing on what you're saying, and I'm nodding my head, yes. I think you're saying that none of you could be there, so do you want me to have it be at the first meeting in November? I mean, I don't think it's necessary for you to be there.
Oh, I
but-
guess I didn't know how much this city council meets. Do they meet every week? Oh, okay, so yes. Yeah, November would be good. I can't be here on a Monday night, though,
Okay.
so it would have to be someone else.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good.
The only thing that we never did talk about is our 4 statements for the,
Oh, yeah. Did you do your homework?
no. But I'm bringing it up so to remind everybody to do their homework for that. And we don't have a deadline on that, do we? And right, you don't probably know what we're talking
No,
about.
I don't.
Okay.
I was thinking about that tonight, and actually, this statement written by Tammy Kuntz.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good information that we can pull in there that do align with our master plan. So there's a strategic plan that's put out by the city of Keizer, and we were trying to, because the KPAC isn't really mentioned in there, but we wanted to make sure that we are heard and represented on the
Right.
strategic plan. So we were trying to, I probably have it in here, but we were trying to align with some of our mission and goals and, you know, what we stand for, and make sure that aligns with the strategic plan. One of them was creating beautiful spaces or something for families.
free,
Which,
yeah.
like, that's what we do. So we could just write some statements. We were going to choose, how many, like each of us? were
You're
gonna
supposed to
choose
come up with 4.
And then just talk about how KPAC aligns with that or supports those, or,
Okay. So part of the city's strategic plan?
yeah, and we could, is it online fully?
It is online. It's on our homepage on the left. It's still a draft strategic plan the council didn't adopt, and I think I'm hoping they'll readdress it at the beginning of the year. So anything you do between now and January will be good.
We're
Okay.
supposed to pick 4 statements from the strategic plan and say how that aligns, how KPAC aligns with that? Okay.
Yeah, how we support that, how we support beautiful spaces in the city of Keizer. I guess we should put that on the agenda for next time then, because we only meet one more time before the end of the year.
It's so abstract, I can't get my head wrapped around it. So
I think one of the reasons, I mean, I don't fear KPAC going away, but I also think that when people think of it, they can automatically tie in the future.
Right.
Like what we do.
yeah, okay.
Okay, is there anything else? Great, thanks for the conversation, and the meeting's adjourned at 7:19.
Thank you.
Make sure you shut your mic.
Oh, yeah.